Okay, so this is the third video in the series of videos for chapter number 12, valuing mortgage-backed and asset-backed securities. And we are continuing with the topic of Monte Carlo simulation model and option-adjusted spread. So in the previous video, we have explained, I have explained that what we mean, how to execute the Monte Carlo simulation model. Now let's talk about the option-adjusted spread. In Monte Carlo model, the OAS is the spread when added to all spot rates on all interest rates pass will make the average present value of the pass equal to the observed market price plus the accrued interest rate. So it's the spread that you need to add to the spot rates on all interest rate pass to make the average present value of pass equal to the observed market price. That's the definition of OAS. The procedure for determining the OAS is straightforward and involves the same search as algorithm we explained for zero volatility spread. The important question, however, is how to interpret this OAS or the option adjusted spread. The option adjusted spread is basically what an investor or a portfolio manager seeks to do is to buy a mortgage-backed security where value is greater than the price. By using a valuation model such as Monte Carlo model, a portfolio manager could estimate the value of a security, which at this point would be sufficient to determine whether to buy a security or not. That is, the portfolio manager can say that this security is 1 point cheap or 2 point cheap and so on. The model does not stop here. Instead, it converts the divergence between the price and the value into some type of spread minus, since most market participants find it more convenient to think about spread than price differences, right? So as we already explained that the talking in terms of yield spreads is more convenient to market participants as compared to the prices. The OS was developed as a measure of the spread that can be used to convert dollar differences between value and price. As explained in chapter number 9, the binomial model spread in a binomial model, a spread is a measure relative to the benchmark interest rates used to generate the interest rate tree and which is therefore used to make the tree arbitrage free. The same is true for the case of the Monte Carlo simulation. The spread is a measure relative to the benchmark interest rates that were used to generate the interest rate pass and to adjust the interest rate pass to make them arbitrage free. So it's a measure relative to those benchmarks. Typically, for mortgage-backed security, the benchmark interest rates is under and treasury rates. So OS is measuring average spread over the treasury spot rate curve. It is an average spread since the OS is found by averaging over the interest rate pass for the possible treasury spot rate curve. Of course, if the LIBOR curve is used, the OS is the spread over the LIBOR curve then. The spread measure obviously is superior to the nominal spread, which gives no recognition to the prepayment risk. Option adjusted because the cash flows on the OS is option adjusted because the cash flow on the interest rate pass are adjusted to the options of borrowers to prepay. While we may understand the mechanics of how to compute OAS and why it is appropriate to use the OAS rather than zero coupon, the question still remains, what does it represent? In chapter number 9, discussion of what compensation the OAS reflects for corporate and agency bonds with embedded option was presented. The compensation for a combination of credit risk and liquidity risk because it already accounts for the option to prepay or option to call. The compensation depends on the benchmark interest rate used in the analysis. For example, if we are considering treasury interest rates, and more specifically Treasury spot rate curve, since this is a benchmark typically used in the calculation of OAS for a mortgage-backed security. If there is an OAS computed using a Treasury benchmark, then what is the OAS compensation for? So there can be a multiple or the stage-wise analysis or the understanding. First, let's consider the Ginnie Mae mortgage pass-through security. As we explained earlier, it's a U.S. government arm. The security securities it issues are backed by the full faith and the credit of the U.S. government. Effectively, Ginnie Mae mortgage-backed securities are the Treasury security with a prepayment risk. So the OAS removes the prepayment risk, i.e. the option risk. Additionally, if the benchmark is Treasury rates, the OAS should not be compensated for the credit risk as well. So it is not a compensation of the prepayment risk nor the credit risk. That leaves the liquidity. While Ginnie Mae mortgage pass-through security may not be as liquid as on-the-run Treasury securities, they are fairly liquid as measured by bid-ask spread. Nevertheless, part of the OAS should reflect compensation for this liquidity risk. There is one more risk that we have not focused on, have not talked about. In our explanation of the Monte Carlo simulation, there were several critical assumptions and parameters required. If those assumptions prove incorrect, or if the parameters are misinterpreted or misestimated, the prepayment model will not calculate the true value of the risk. Thus, probably a good part of the compensation for a Ginnie Mae mortgage pass-through security reflects payment for this model uncertainty. So it's a model uncertainty risk and the liquidity risk. The OAS is compensation when it's a Ginnie Mae security. It's a compensation for a liquidity risk and model uncertainty risk. If we consider CMOs issued by Ginnie Mae rather than the mortgage pass-through securities, the OAS would reflect the complexity associated with a particular tranche. For example, if it's a plan amortization tranche, would be less exposed to the modeling risk than a support tranche in the same CMO structure. Hence, compensation for modeling risk would be greater for the support tranche than a PAC tranche in the same structure. Moreover, PAC tranches have a greater liquidity than support tranches, so compensation is less for farmer relative to the later. As we move from Ginnie Mae issued mortgage-backed security to those by the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, we introduce credit risk. So the Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae is the government sponsor enterprises, but they are not backed by the US governments. They are considered AAA rated. Consequently, in addition to the modeling and liquidity risk, there is now the credit risk. And again, when we move on to non-agency mortgage-based securities and real estate mortgage-backed securities, the OAS is compensation for the credit risk, the liquidity risk, and the modeling risk. Right. So basically, OAS is compensation for them, and how we calculate it, we also discussed. I have also explained it. One important thing related to the this is the option cost. Related to the Monte Carlo simulation is option cost. So the option cost, the implied cost of option embedded for mortgage-backed or asset-backed security, can be obtained by calculating the difference between option spread and the zero volatility spread. And the difference will give us option cost. The option cost measures the prepayment risk embedded in the security. Note that the cost of option is a byproduct of option adjusted spread. So we said zero volatility spread will be enough if there is if it is less likely that the borrower will prepay, then the difference between the zero volatility spread and option adjusted spread will give us the option cost. What cost of option? Option of the prepayment, right? Okay. Now let's let's consider the illustrations or the examples of these Monte Carlo simulation. We will use two deals to show how CMO can be analyzed using Monte Carlo model procedure discussed above. We will use a simple structure and a PSC supported structure. So this is first simple structure. The simple structure analyze is Freddie Mac structure of 1915. It is simple sequence 1915, not 1915, sorry. It's a simple sequential phase CMO bond trench. The structure include 8 trenches, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and S. The focus of our analysis is on trench A, B, C. All 3 trenches were priced at premium. So if you see this shows the OS, the option cost, and the effective duration. So this is the OS, this is the option cost, this is the Z spread, and this is the effective duration. For collateral as well as the 3 CMO trenches. The trench A had the smallest effective duration and trench C has the largest effective duration. So if you see, trench A is the smallest effective duration and trench C has the largest effective duration. The OS for the collateral is 51 basis points. Since the option cost is 67 basis points, the zero volatility spread is 118 basis points. 51 basis points plus 67 basis points. At the time this analysis was performed in the chapter, which is March 10, 1998, the treasury yield curve was not steep. So we explained that when the yield curve is relatively flat, the zero volatility spread will not differ significantly from the nominal spread. Thus, for the 3 trenches shown in Exhibit 5, the zero volatility spread is 83 basis points for A, 150 for B, and 116 basis points for C. Notice that the trenches did not share the OAS equally. So the OAS is not shared equally by these 3. The same is true for the option cost. Both Z spread and the option cost increase as the effective duration increases. Whether or not any of these trenches were effective attractive investments require a comparison to other trenches in the market with the same effective duration. While not presented here, all 3 trenches offered an OS similar to other sequential paid trenches with the same effective durations available in the market. On a relative basis, the only trench where there appears to be a bit of bargain is trench C. A portfolio manager contemplating the purchase of this last cash flow trench can see that C offers a higher OS than B and appears to be a less of the risk, i.e. lower option cost is measured by the option cost. The problem portfolio manager may face is that they might not be able to go out as long on the yield curve as trench C because the effective duration, maturity, and average life constraint relative to their abilities. Example. Now let's look at the modeling risk. Examination of sensitivity of trenches to changes in prepayment and interest rate volatility will help us understand the interaction of the trenches in the structure and how is bearing the risk. How the deal behaves under various scenarios should reinforce the consistent with the valuation. So let's look at this, in which we see when we change the prepayment at rather than the 13%, rather than the 100%, we say prepayment at 80% and 120%. We begin with prepayment specifically. We keep same interest as part and change the prepayment. Before looking at the as can be seen in this panel, Slowing down prepayment increase the OAS and price for the collateral. So the OAS and price is increase, right? So the previously OAS was 51, now is 63, and price change is positive 0.45 per 100. The exhibit also reports two results of the sensitivity analysis. First, it indicates the changes in OAS. Second, it indicates changes in the price, holding OAS constant at the base rate. To see how a portfolio manager can use the information in this panel, consider tranche A. At 80% of the prepayment spread, the OAS for this tranche increases from 32 basis points to 40 basis points. If OAS is held constant, the panel indicates that the buyer of tranche A would gain 0.17 per 100 of the value. Now, notice that all of the tranches reported in Exhibit 5, there is a gain from a slowdown in prepayment. So, there is a gain. So, if the payment is slowed down, there is gain for all tranches. This is because all of the sequential pay tranches in this deal are priced over par. So, they are selling at premium. An investor in a tranche priced at premium benefits from a slowdown in prepayment because the investor receives the higher coupon for a longer period and postpones the capital loss from a prepayment. Also, notice that while the changes in OAS are about the same for the different tranches, the changes in price are quite different, right? So this is from as compared to previous changes are same, but changes in price are way different. This arises because the shorter tranches have less duration. Therefore, their price do not move as much from changes in OAS as longer average life tranches. A portfolio manager who is willing to go to the long end of the yield curve, such as tranche C, would realize the most benefit from the slowdown of prepayment. Also, you can see that there is also a case reported for a prepayment rate of 120%. The collateral loses money in this scenario, as can be seen. So the collateral loses money. So previously OAS spread was 51, and now it is 40, and you lose money 32 per 100. This is reflected in both OAS and the price. Now look at the three tranches. They all lost money because the tranches were all at premium, and the speeding of prepayments adversely affect their tranches. Now, before looking at the last panel that shows the effect of changes in interest rate volatility on the OAS, let's review the relationship between expected interest rate volatility and the value of the mortgage-backed security. Recall that the investor in the mortgage-based security has sold an option to homeowners. Thus, the investor is the short an option. As we will explain in the next chapter, the value of an option depends on the expected interest rate volatility. When expected interest rate volatility decreases, the value option embedded in the mortgage-backed security decreases, and therefore the value of the mortgage-backed security increases. The opposite is true when expected interest rate volatility increases, the value of the embedded option increases, and the value of the mortgage-backed security decreases. Now let's look at this. So interest rate volatility now. Now let's see that volatility assumption 13% in the base case. We said that in the base case the interest rate volatility is 13%. Two sensitivities are reported in this panel, 9% and 17%. So the plus minus 4%. Reducing the volatility to 9% increases the dollar price of the collateral by 1.03 and increases the OAS from 51 to 79. However, this 1.03 increase in the price of the collateral is not equally distributed among the three tranches, right? So the prices of A, B, and C increase differently, obviously, as per their duration. Most of the increase in value is raised by the longer trench. The OS gain for each of the trenches follows more or less the effective duration of those trenches. This makes sense because the longer the duration, the greater the risk, and when volatility declines, the reward is greater for the accepted risk. At the higher level of assumed interest rate volatility, the collateral is severely affected. The longer the duration, the greater the loss. These results for the decrease and increase in interest rate volatility are consistent with what we explained earlier. So, using a multi-correlate simulation analysis, a fair conclusion that can be made about this simple structure is what you see is what you get. The only surprise in this structure is the lower option cost in tranche C. In general, however, a portfolio manager willing to extend duration gets for a risk in this structure. Now, let's look at another structure, PAC support tranche structure. Now, how to apply the methodology to a more complicated CMO structure? The collateral pool of pass-through for this structure is Freddie Mac 7% coupon rate. A partial summary of the deal is provided below. That is, only tranches we will discuss in this section are provided here. So this is the summary of the tranches. While this deal looks complicated, it is relatively simpler compared to many deals that have been issued. Nonetheless, it brings out all the key points about application of OS analysis, specifically the fact that most deals include cheap bonds, expensive bonds, and fairly priced bonds. The OS analysis helps identify how a tranche should be classified. A more proper analysis would compare the OS for each tranche to a similar duration tranche available in the market, which is not reported here or not done here. All of the tranches in Exhibit C were discussed in Chapter 10. At the issuance, there were 10 PAC tranches, 3 scheduled tranches, and a floating rate support tranche and an inverse floating rate tranche. Recall that scheduled tranches are support tranches with a schedule referred to as PAC tranches. The first two PAC tranches in the deal, tranche A and tranche B, were paid off at the time of the analysis. The other PAC tranches were still available at the time of the analysis. The collateral for this deal was trading at premium. That is, the homeowners were paying a higher mortgage rate than the available in the market at the time of the analysis. This means that the value of the collateral would increase if the prepayment slow down, but would decrease if the prepayment increases. What is important to note, however, is that the tranche could be trading at a discount, par, or premium, even though the collateral is priced at a premium. For example, PACC had a low coupon rate at the time of the analysis and therefore was trading at discount. Thus, while the collateral, which was selling at a premium, collateral loses value from an increase in prepayments, a discount tranche such as tranche C would increase in value if prepayment increases. Now let's again perform the similar analysis and go to this particular exhibit. This exhibit again reports OS, option cost, and effective duration for the collateral and tranches. The collateral OS is 60 basis points and the option cost is 44 basis points. The Z spread of the collateral to the Treasury spot rate curve is 104. The 60 basis points of the OS did not get equally distributed among the tranches, as was the case in the simple structure we analyzed earlier. Tranche B, the scheduled support, did not realize a good OS allocation, only 29 basis points. Here, LB 29 basis points. And it also had extremely high option cost, which is 74, highest of all. Given the prepayment uncertainty associated with this tranche, its OS would be expected to be higher. The reason for the low OS is that this tranche was priced so that its cash flow yield is high. Using the Z spread as a proxy for the nominal spread, the 103 basis point spread for tranche LB is high, given that this appears to be a short average life range. Consequently, yield buyers, investors who prefer for a high nominal yield, who may not be attentive to the compensation of the prepayment risk, probably bid aggressively for this range and thereby drove down the OAS, trading off yields for OAS. For a total return perspective, however, tranche LB should be avoided. It is a rich or expensive tranche. The other support tranche analyzed, tranche M, had OAS of 72. These 72 basis points offered on a comparable duration tranche available in the market. The analysis reported help us identify where the cheap tranches are in the deal. The long average life and effective duration tranche in the deal are PAC tranches G, H, J, and K. So G, H, J, and K have a long effective duration. These tranches have high OS relative to other tranches and low option cost. They appear to be cheap tranches in the deal. The PAC tranches had well-protected cash flows and exhibit positive convexity. That is, these tranches lose less in an adverse scenario than they gain in a positive scenario. The next panel, if I can show you, so we have these two panels remaining. The next panel again shows the sensitivity at a prepayment rate of 80% and 120%. And then here we present sensitivity of 9% and 70%. This analysis shows that the change in the prepayment speed does not affect the collateral significantly, while the changes in the OAS and the price for each tranche can be significant. Tranche C and D at the time of analysis were priced at a discount with short average lives. The OAS and price of these tranches were not affected by slowing down or speeding up the prepayment model. Tranche H, on the other hand, was a premium tranche with a medium-term average life at the time of the analysis. Because tranche H was trading at premium, it benefits from a slowing in the payments, as the bondholders will receive the coupon for a longer time. Faster prepayments represents an adverse scenario for tranche H. The PAC tranches are quite well protected. The longer average life PACs will actually benefit from reduced prepayment rate because they will be earning a higher coupon interest longer. So on the OS basis, the earlier conclusion that the long PACs are allocated a good part of the deal's value holds up under the first stress test. The sensitivity of the collateral and the tranches to change in volatility are shown here. A lower volatility increases the value of the collateral, while a higher volatility reduces its value. The longer average life PACs continue to be fairly well protected, whether the volatility is lower or higher. In the two volatility scenarios, they continue to get a good OAS on relative value basis, although not as much as in the case if volatility is higher. So basically, that the PAC tranches are long duration PAC tranches are good bet here. That's all about these illustrations and the Monte Carlo simulation.